This beautiful morning as the Super Falcons of Nigeria began their 2024 WAFCON quest or campaign in emphatic fashion with a comprehensive 3-0 victory over Tunisia on Sunday. Nigeria got off to a flying start with Asisat Oshoala heading home on Moinsola Babajide's superb cross in the 4th minute of the game, while the girls controlled the tempo of the match throughout, with goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie largely untroubled in the game. Deborah Abiodun came close to doubling Nigeria's lead 5 minutes before the break, weaving past the Tunisian defense but failing to beat the goalkeeper. Babajide made it 2-0 with a well-taken strike on the stroke of half-time. Now, moments later, defender Ashley Plumpton had a goal disallowed for a foul in the build-up of that goal. Head coach Madugu introduced 3 fantastic players in the second half: Chinwendu Iheozo, Christy Ochibu, and Esther Okronkwo for Asisat Oshoala, Abiodun, and Babajide to start the second half. Falcons continued to dominate proceedings with Ashley Plumpton and Osinachi Ohale both coming close to extending the lead. Substitute Chinwendu Iheozo sealed the victory with a 3rd goal 6 minutes from time. Guys, what do you make of that victory, honestly?
Okay, for me, I was expecting that victory, but firstly, I think you both made me look like a bad person, like I'm not in support of the Mission X. So let me come back.
And he's always talking about Mission X.
So let me come back, guys. I've been massive about Mission X on my own social media platform, and so I'm supporting the Super Falcons. I'm not a bad person. I love the Super Falcons so much, but trust me, it's a very fantastic victory for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Expected, and we saw total demolition in front of goal for the Super Falcons, and they had nothing to play. I mean, the Tunisian ladies, they had nothing to play. The Chiamaka Nnadozie had nothing to do in a goal post. So I think for the Super Falcons, they had it all to do right there and getting the goals.
Guys, guess who we have here from Casablanca, Morocco? We've got the media officer of the greatest female football team on the continent of Africa, Super Falcons media officer Mary Akinshola, right here, joining us from Casablanca, Morocco. Good morning to you, darling.
Good morning, Bolu. Good morning, Toby. Good morning to everyone out there in Ibadan.
How are you today? What's the feeling like morning after that important victory?
I think first, everyone is excited, definitely, but also we're quite just trying to get ourselves together because it was quite a grueling one.
And the manager Justin Madugu, had so much to put together. I mean, having so much tasks in that squad. I mean, does he ever talk about how he managed to get the best 11 for the team? Gonna be difficult, right?
One of the conversations that I usually have with him, like from time to time, is we'll talk about the depth of the squad, the tactical ability of the squad, and he would tell me all the time how much confidence he has in all of these girls, and how any of them can be called upon at any time, and they can make the impact that he really wants in a game, which was really obvious yesterday. When we saw the first half, we came back to the second half, and he made 3 changes, which was quite un-Nigerian.
Yeah.
Because naturally, we used to Nigerian coaches waiting until way later to make changes, but then he made those 3 bold changes, and here we are.
I mean, let's talk about Super Z, Asisat Oshoala. Fantastic player anytime, any day. No doubt about it. Class is permanent, and that was exactly what we saw yesterday. She's gone through a whole lot, but opening the floodlight for us yesterday, floodgate for us yesterday, it was a big deal for everybody.
You can't overemphasize or underemphasize the essence of a player like Asisat Oshoala on the team, like the Super Falcons. She's an erudite player, any day, anytime, called upon. She's always ready to give her best. And it was really exciting to see her open the scorebooks for the Super Falcons at the WAFCON yesterday.
I mean, getting past Tunisia, for me, it wasn't really a big deal. We've always had the better of the North African sides. But then, I mean, going through, I'm sure that the team must have gone through almost all the teams in the competition, not just in our group alone. Which of the teams are you guys worried about going forward?
I think I speak for everyone on the team when I say right now we do respect all of our opponents.
Oh
We
yeah.
see everyone equally. We just want to go out there day in, day out, match in, match out. Whoever the opponent is, we're turning up the same way. We're not underestimating anyone. We're not flattered by the scoreline yesterday. We just have our eyes fixed on the prize.
Eyes on the price. I love that. Mission X. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, is that going to bring extra prayer on the girls?" Are you feeling that prayer?
I don't think it's pressure, to be honest. It's not pressure. It's just motivation. It's enough fuel for us to go out there and get the job done.
Absolutely. I mean, even Mexico actually proved to us that it's not a big deal. They won their 10th Gold Cup in the early hours of today. So why not the Falcons? Toby Ajiwale is also here. Toby's here.
Hi, Toby, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good morning, Mary. Trust you're doing good in Casablanca.
Thank you, I am.
All right, got a few questions.
Okay, so right now, ahead of the next game, what's the motivation for the girls going into the next game and even the remainder of the group stages of the WAFCON?
I think the motivation still remains the same. Win all your games convincingly. We've done one yesterday. We're setting forward to do the next one on Thursday. So just go out there and get convincing wins and, have some fun while at it.
But absolutely. Toluwani Polabe is also here with me in the studios, and I'm sure he has a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir. Good morning to you.
Good morning to
yes,
you.
do you have few language already in Casablanca? Can you give us some, few dips of language right there in Morocco? Do you have languages already? all right. So quick one.
It's gonna be pretty hard.
Okay. So quick one. We saw the report of Babaji's celebration. Paying respect to Diego Jota, and we saw Bash, on Twitter, people speaking about, why is she not doing it for, Peter Rufai? So what was it like for her right now in camp? What's she feeling? What was it like for her currently?
I spoke to her last night. I've spoken to her today. I can assure you, Babaji Demisola is very fine.
Beautiful.
All right, I think I should just go a bit off the field now. Is it that Moroccans didn't know the greatest team on the continent was in town yesterday? Everywhere was empty.
Yeah.
They didn't get the memo. Come on, man.
I can't speak for the moment.
Honestly speaking, I was expecting a packed stadium yesterday.
house.
Yeah,
Honestly, I was expecting a full house. Come on, they didn't get the memo. But then we will teach them a very good lesson if we eventually meet in the competition, honestly speaking. And before the competition, Rashida Ajibade came up with this picture online, talking about the state of their rooms and all of that, calling out CAF. What has happened since then?
I think these issues are still being resolved via diplomatic channels. I can assure you things have changed slightly, but we do expect to see a few more changes, which I can't disclose at the moment.
All right, Mary, before I let you go, your message to Nigerians at this point. We've seen a very good performance yesterday, a beautiful one. Goals came just like we wanted, although we wanted more anyways. But then what's your message to Nigerians as we continue our quest to win a 10th WAFCON title? We call it La Decima at this point. Yeah, in the studios, call it La Decima.
Yeah.
Because it sounds better, right? Better. So what's your message?
First of all, I just really want to thank Nigerians. We felt all the love yesterday. And, even from going into camp, going to Portugal, coming to Casablanca, it's just been so much love and support and praise from Nigerians. And we really want to ask of them and request that they continue to do that for us. They should continue imposing this beautiful confidence that they have so far, and we on our part will make sure we'll do our very best to to make everyone proud.
Mary, this is a bit personal now. What has the experience been? About 3 weeks ago, you were confirmed media officer of the team. What has the experience been for you?
It's an interesting one. For me, of course, personally, life is always like a learning curve. Things will happen, you ease yourself into it in that way. But so far, it's been amazing. The team has been welcoming. I have felt like home. And it's just so beautiful to witness and experience.
Mary, of course, as you know, you always have our support from here. And of course, we continue to push for you, root for the team, and wish you guys all the best. And now, I have this parting shot for you. I need you to say me well to Mommy Gio, Rashida Ajibade. Tell her I love her. Now, I'm serious, Mary, because I'll cut
We
these
all
clips.
love her.
I will cut these clips and send it to you. You must show her, Mary. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, there you have her, Mary Akinshola, the media officer of the greatest female team on the continent of Africa, the Super Falcons media officer, joining us from Casablanca venue of the WAFCON competition. Guys, you're listening to her already. Toby, what's your thoughts? I mean, with what we just heard.
Yes, definitely. You can see her brimming with confidence and definitely more or less oozing the confidence from the team right there. However, just as she said, they are not leaving any room for complacency. They respect every of their opponents right there, because for the first time in a long time, at the last WAFCON, incidentally, Morocco hosted Nigeria's Falcons, didn't have a medal of any color, and definitely to be important for them to reverse it at this year's edition. They've set the marker with a 3-0 victory. I believe their next game should be against Botswana. They should also follow it up and more or less show that statement of intent, because we've seen the resurgence of the Banyana, the South African national team. Morocco, the female team of Morocco too, hosting, would also want to put a show for their home fans right there. So it's not like the days of the past where it's always a one-horse race, where it's always for the Falcons to beat. But with the victory of yesterday, and also with the performance of Babari Jideri Sola in that encounter yesterday, I thought she could have had the Woman of the Match award, but it went to
Esther, the lady on your screen.
It went to Esther in that fixture. That was yesterday. But I think good vibes from the girls, and just as I've been saying, X marks the spot, and I hope they bring the trophy back home.
Absolutely, I would love that the way that sounds. Honestly, I mean, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Yeah, Mission X. There we have it. All right, so let's return to the league this time around. Let's talk about the Nigerian National League this beautiful morning. Super 8 started over the weekend, and we had interesting result, but not a very good result for Crown FC Toluwani.
And you know, I think you know, for me, throughout the week, we're buzzing about Crown FC. You know, wanting them to get on the front foot, and also we had you know, the media coverage, giving us that morale booster right there. But it didn't go as planned for them. But I'm sure you can pick up your laces again, tie them properly, and look at the drawing board. What we did not do right properly going into that game, and I think they have it all to do in this one coming through. For them, I'm looking at the head start. They're ahead of the team they're going to play. I mean, that's Osun United. Today. So I think they have the head start. Going into this game, I just want them to pick up the major 3 points right there and get things done properly, and let's see how far we can go in the competition.
It's important that they return to winning ways. Toby, let's take a look at results from match day 1. Like you saw, as you have it on your screen, Barrow FC. I mean, that's a conference, Northern Conference. It was just goalless.
It's goalless.
They weren't ready for the competition.
At all.
Honestly, they weren't ready. But of course, in Southern Conference, it wasn't a good one. Califat winning against Crown FC by a single goal. Osun United winning against Wadi Wolves 1-0. And Toby, I think I felt a little bit relaxed that Wadi Wolves lost. I don't know why, because they had a very good regular season.
Yes, they did.
And I thought they would continue that way.
Yes, they did. I would say tops to they call them the Omoluabi Warriors. That's Osun United. They had, I would say they saw the chance and they took it more or less like a smash and grab. Later today, of course, they'll be facing Crown Football Club.
Absolutely.
But the result from the games, I'm sure Crown FC, they felt undone with that result. A penalty, there has been a whole lot of tongues wagging over that penalty that was more or less given against them. But it's football, and whilst we do not have technology at any level of our football in Nigeria,
we have to make do whatever
we just have to make do what we have at this point.
Unfortunately, we have to make do whatever we have. Well, for today, let's take a look at fixtures for today. A game already concluded, I must say, and that's the first game between Yobe Desert Stars and Doma United concluded. I started about 9 a.m. today. I'm still trying to see what came of that particular encounter. But of course, more games are going down, as you can have here on your screen. Barrow FC versus Wiki Tourist at 11:30. Of course, Kum Khalifa taking on Wolves at 2. You finished 2-1?
Yeah, 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
2-1.
In favor of
Yobe
Desert Stars. Fantastic. At least they are now they are not ready for the competition on match day 2.
Yeah.
So we'd also have the Omoluabi Giants take on Crown FC Ogbomoso at 4 p.m. We wish them all the best, and of course we'll continue to monitor proceedings from that particular end. All right, let's move away from that this beautiful morning and talk about our Kano Pillars, who over the weekend made Ahmed Musa the new general manager of the club. Well, don't forget that the initial board was disbanded, or their tenure ended, and the management of the owners, that's the government of the Kano State, decided to bring in new guys to, of course, help rejuvenate the club and all that. But Ahmed Musa, good decision for you, Toby.
They call him the governor.
So I was about saying that. So I was about saying that.
So right now, let us see him in this administrative role. But one thing I'm still not sure: will he combine this with his football playing contract?
Because it looked like he's going back to Europe or Saudi Arabia.
Exactly, but at this point, I think it's he's a son of the soil, literally. At some point, he was the highest goal scorer in the league before he made that switch to VV Venlo, right there in the Netherlands several years ago, and I think he has been growing leaps and bounds. He has been one of Nigeria's good servants, if I can call him that. Fine, he didn't play the under-17s, but from the under-20s to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, I think he has had a storied career. When you're talking about with the national team, right now with Kano Pillars coming back to his boyhood club, and with what he has done so far,
he's given a lot to the club.
That
role as general manager.
Yes, I think as general manager right now, this is where maybe he will more or less look into his, if I can call it, his contacts that he has built over time. Maybe draw sponsorship, because he's well traveled. He's played in Netherlands, he's played in Turkey, he has played in England. Right now he's in Nigeria, all of those things. So I think maybe it's we see what Kano is doing with Enyimba.
What's he doing with Enyimba? Since he took charge of Enyimba.
So I was about to say that I knew Toby was going to talk about Kano, and so we look at it.
But in Kano's defense, I think he has done it. He has brought some little, shall I say, corporate sponsorship to
They want success.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They want success. I also feel it also cut Kano some slack too. Enyimba was also his first major administrative role.
Exactly the point.
So maybe it's also, maybe we would also say maybe Kano is learning the ropes too, learning on the job. Just the same way we saw Finidi George to come to Enyimba at some point. He left. He's with Rivers United. We saw how, if I can use the word now, shambolic is albeit short stint with the Super Eagles as head coach. So maybe they might be learning the ropes, and at some point,
the truth of the matter is, a successful footballer doesn't make you a successful coach or administrator.
No doubt about it.
Administration is absolutely different. And for this Ahmed Musa situation,
I just think that for me, the idea, like Toby said, is just to bring in sponsorship, and he has contacts.
Of course,
he can bring in the deals. Grow the club again. Try to put a few things in place. To put Kano Pillars on the limelight again. So I think that's just the idea for me. But any other thing than that,
you're not expecting so much from him.
Yes, actually, I'm not expecting so much.
All right, there you listen to him. Let's move away from there. Let's talk about continental football. Well, Amaju Melvin Pinnick has been appointed as a special advisor to President of CAF, Pratik Masepe. Well, the appointment, of Pinnick, who was a former president of the NFF, was approved at the last executive committee meeting held on Saturday. Don't forget that Amaju is returning to CAF following his failure to seal an executive position at the last election. So this man is still loved in CAF.
Well, for Pinnick, I had this discussion with someone some weeks ago that fine, our administrators, when it comes to the actual how the game is played right here in Nigeria, they might not be so good, but when it comes to the actual politics, they know how to do it.
That man plays it pretty well.
Flash your mind back to Amos Adamu when he was in the doorsteps of the then NFA. He was at the FIFA council, even though he was disgraced out at some point. Look at Melvin Pinnick today, how he started from the Delta State Football Association, he grew to NFF, from NFF to CAF. At some point, he was on FIFA right now. even though he lost his re-election bid some months ago into Carl's board right now, but he's still back among the big boys.
Absolutely.
And in my opinion right now, maybe, remember there's still these 3 points hanging for the Super Eagles of Nigeria at the World Cup qualifiers. Maybe, you know, it spoke about Nigeria and bilateral relations when he wanted to qualify for the
don't
World
go
Cup.
back to that. Don't go back to that.
This is where we now need him right now. Let him pull the strings at this point.
Yeah, we need the strings.
But I think congratulations to Amaju Melvin Pinnick. He knows his way around the corridors of football power, and I think it's good that we are seeing him once again.
And honestly, you can't take anything away from his experience.
Actually, you can't take anything away from Amaju Pinnick, and his administrative-wise, he has done the job. But right now, like you said, we need him to pull those strings. In power, he has the power now.
He does.
So just speak to few people. Let's see how we can get those 3 points in the locker. And let's see how Nigeria can be at the World Cup. I think is what we're looking forward to. But congratulations to Amaju Pinnick.
Guys, we need to move as fast as possible on the show, and this is a very interesting and controversial story. I mean, I think athletics is like a big issue in Nigeria these days.
It is.
If it's not, the young lady the other time, right? Favor now is Nse Uko. She has been banned. Well, now here's the news, in case you're just hearing. The Athletics Federation of Nigeria has distanced itself from the current 2-year doping ban handed to Imabonga Nse Uko by the Integrity Unit of Athletics for doping violations, for committing 3 whereabout failures within a 12-month period. Now, Nse Uko, there you have her on your screen, blamed it on the AFN. In fact, she mentioned names actually, but I don't even want to go into all of that. But AFN are saying, it's not our problem, it's your problem. Declare your whereabouts and you won't have issues. Oh my, issues in Nigeria athletics. Well, if we should start arguments now, I'm sure we won't leave this place, but then we need to move as fast as possible. Let's talk about athletics events over there in Eugene over the weekend. Toblo Bamuson was on fire in Oregon at the weekend. That same stadium where she broke the world record. She was back there at the weekend, and she did brilliantly well, Toby.
Yes, definitely. Even sporting a new haircut. See if I can even talk about
yes!
Actually,
who saw that?
Actually, yeah.
I saw that, I'm like, Toby, what's up with you?
It's giving African Queen, vibe.
Right.
Beautiful.
Toby, there's something about Toby Amuson. I mean, she gives you reasons to talk about her.
Yeah.
What's up with that Gogorima power, was it? all right. But then, aside that, on the tracks, she came second.
Yes, she came second. She came second. Deep down within me, I would have wanted her to have more or less gone first over the line. But be that as it may, I think she's having a good season so far. And I think she's gradually peaking, and she has maybe few years left. So let her make the most out of it right now. The next edition of the Olympics in Los Angeles perhaps might be her last. So most likely she's definitely trying to burn the tracks and maybe leave her name on the sands of time. But yeah, so congratulations to her once again.
Fantastic performance for Atolu. And let's talk about this great shot putter, Nigeria's Chukwuebuka Nekweche, who made history by becoming the first African to throw over 22 meters in the men's shot put. This is one young man who has dominated Africa when it comes to shot put, and at the global stage, he's representing pretty well.
On the global stage, he's doing well for Nigeria, and I think he is a very fantastic athlete for me. Over time, and breaking records and putting his name on the map is what we always want to see from him. Day in, day out, and we're just hoping for the very best that he stays fit, and he keeps doing the best for himself and also for Nigeria. So it's a big one.
African record holder. Does pretty well for himself. Let's check out the screen, guys, and it's time to talk Formula One. It was a great weekend as Lando Norris took his first home victory in a very chaotic and dramatic British Grand Prix. Toby, you saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
It was quite dramatic.
Yes, it was.
And I enjoyed every bit of it, no doubt.
Yes, it was. It was rain-soaked right there in Silverstone, and as much
that
as
was what the weather forecast said.
Exactly. As much as Max Verstappen started on pole right there, we know the Red Bull is not the fastest car on the grid for this season. It is definitely what we are seeing from McLaren in Piastri and Lando Norris right there. And at some point, I just hope we'll not have what happened in 2016, Nico
Yeah.
Rosberg and
Lewis
Lewis Hamilton, where they went
It's
head-to-head.
happening already.
But at this point, McLaren, they said they are still keeping their cards to them. It's just that
They will do that.
that let both drivers keep going, but at some point they will make a decision. And for Nico Hülkenberg,
Well,
the
no, well,
German-
let's talk about the two of them first.
Exactly.
Don't forget that he actually suffered a 5-second penalty, Piastri, and that was why he wasn't able to catch up, honestly.
Yeah.
But for McLaren, it's something they want to see. And that's why they're keeping their decision down their chest to say, let them keep it going. The matured men.
Exactly.
Because they are leading.
Of course, they are leading.
They make the podium week in, week out.
Exactly.
week in,
And
week out.
at this point, it will take total capitulation from McLaren for them to lose
out.
exactly to,
Yeah.
to lose out on the Constructors' Championship, which they are hoping to more or less defend, and even the Drivers' Championship, they are going to go either way to Piastri, Oscar Piastri, the Australian, or even homeboy Lando Norris from
Norris.
yesterday who won at Silverstone.
Because Piastri was sad yesterday.
Yes, he was.
sad.
He was.
Visibly sad yesterday.
was sad.
Now let's talk about this Hulkenberg, of Sauber.
Yeah.
That was his first podium finish.
Exactly.
About 239 races.
Exactly, and he was. If I was to vote yesterday, I would have given him driver of the day.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but for Nico, I would say very good. He has been. I would say he has been on the wrong end because of course Sauber. They're not one of the top constructors that
I
you know.
wonder how they manage.
Exactly, because before you even think about a Sauber, of course, you first
you look at
about
Red Bull,
the
Ferrari,
Ferraris
Aston Martin,
and everything.
and
But
Mercedes, you know.
but at this point, a big ups to Nico Hülkenberg yesterday, and I would say Silverstone served us very interesting race that was yesterday.
You know, in as much as I love the fact that Hulkenberg of Sauber made the podium, I mean, I wanted Hamilton to be on the podium yesterday, but he missed that guy.
Yeah, we spoke about it on Friday, and you said, we wanted him to be on the podium, but it didn't look like it, but the own boy, another own boy doing the magic.
I mean,
so,
why complain?
Why complain?
Guys, let's move away from the word. Okay, let's take a look at the driver's standing, obviously. Team standing first, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, McLaren dominating. That's a massive gap right there. Massive gap. I mean, just like Toby said, it takes a massive capitulation to make them miss out. Honestly. Let's take a look at the driver's standings, where, of course, it's Piastri up there, Lando Norris, and that battle continues. Honestly, it continues. Next up is Belgium, right?
Yeah.
Belgium is next, up next. All right, let's move away from Formula One. I will spend a lot of minutes there. I mean, I love Formula One, and I love it when I'm with those who love Formula One. All right, let's talk Wimbledon right now, as we saw interesting games yesterday too.
Yes, we saw interesting games yesterday, and I'll speak about the number 2 seed, Carlos Alcaraz. Let's start with Carlos Alcaraz. I think he battled once again. He had to come from a set down to get that victory in that one. I feel for Carlos, I think he likes to go through the long route, and at some point, it might not help his game.
Because now that we are getting to the round of 16, quarterfinal, you're going to suffer.
He will, because the truth is that if he tires himself out with long games, Yannick Sinner is still there. Novak Djokovic is still there. And so he more or less needs to take it easy on himself and not tear himself or wear himself out, because I would say that was one of the greatest undoing of he said we shouldn't call him the Prince of Clay, right? Remember what happened to Rafael Nadal at some point. Played long matches, injuries really affected him. So but I think I will still be tipping Carlos Alcaraz to more or less get this Wimbledon trophy at the end of the games.
Back to back.
Exactly.
It's going to be back to back for him. Like Toby said, I think he's coming from set down, to get back to the game again. And it's going to wear him out at the end of the day, because right now we're going to the round of 16 where we're going to see, tougher opponents, So what if they take it to game 3 and you're fighting back again to see, so you get tired, you get burn out for the next game and things like that. So I think he just needs to finish it up, from the first set down to the second set, and let's get done with, and I move on to the next round. And also, I would just hope that he can, stay fit, going into the next round of the competition in Wimbledon.
All right, guys, let's right, take a look at the screen and look at games going down today. Round of 16 for the male and quarterfinal for the female already. And there you have them on your screen. Let's see them. Let's see more games to look forward to today. Novak is in action today. Yes, and a number of them. Yeah, more games on our screen before we leave the world of tennis. Yeah, there you have it. Carlos Alcaraz would have to contend with Cameron Norrie. Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal, right? Aryna Sabalenka will take on Laura Segmund. Also today, we'll have Taylor Fritz versus Karen Khachanov also today. I mean, long list of games to look forward to today, and we can't wait to enjoy the best of SW19. Talking about the Wimbledon. All right, guys, let's move away from there and return to the world of football. Guys, the FIFA Club World Cup. We are into the semi-finals already. Guys, let's check it out on the screen. I think I should start with you, Toluwani. I think your prediction was that Palmeiras will go through, right?
How did you remember?
I was supposed to remember. But then, there you have the quarterfinal results. Last time out, there you have it. Real Madrid made it difficult for themselves, but then the victory came at the end of the day. Paris Saint-Germain, sweet victory for them, 2-0 against Bayern Munich. And there was a name you called... the coach of Bayern on your status, yes. But I saw that. That is unfair. And I'm talking about for some company. No,
I think he's just a lucky man to be coaching a team like Bayern Munich. Trust me, I was speaking to my friend and I said, if they give me the opportunity, I can also coach Bayern. I just need a good formation and tell the players to play because come on, well, I don't know, man.
Well, surprisingly to many of us, new fans of Saudi Arabian League, Al Hilal lost to Fluminense that day. I mean, I was falling in love with the Saudi League already, with Al Hilal. I thought they would push their way at least to the semi-finals, but then quarterfinals, they got knocked out.
And they're doing fine in the FIFA Club World Cup. And Thiago Silva is giving so much experience to the team.
44-year-old Thiago Silva,
and also
commando from the back.
Yeah, and also the goalkeeper of Fluminense also.
Exactly.
So they're giving so much experience to the team, going forward in the FIFA Club World Cup.
Palmeiras lost to Chelsea 2-0 that game. Let's take a look at what the semi-final pairing look like. Chelsea would have to contend with Fluminense. Big deal. Yes. Thiago Silva facing his former club.
Yes, big deal. And my prediction for a Brazilian side playing in the final still holds. So I will see a Brazilian club playing in the final. So you can plot 1 or 2 now, which means Chelsea will be losing the semi-final in my books.
Well, I'm not sure Toluwani still has any predictions in this FIFA Club World Cup because he has always gotten that wrong.
No,
but hasn't done his favor.
But hold on, I spoke about Madrid. I've been in the final. No, okay.
Madrid is on. All right, there you have it. Paris Saint-Germain will take on Real Madrid. That game on Wednesday, but on Tuesday it's Palmeiras, Fluminense versus Chelsea. Fingers crossed. I'll see how things pan out from there. Let's talk about the King's Cup. It was decided in the early hours of today, and United States of America lost to Mexico 1-2. And that game ended. Mexico clinching the title for a record 10th time. I stayed all night to watch that particular game, and it was worth it, I must say, to be.
Yes, it was worth it, and the Mexicans. Truth be told, I think the Americans knew they cannot match the Mexicans size for size right there. I'm sure the fans will still be relatively okay that at least they held their own because incidentally the Americans opened the scoring as early as the 4th minute.
Yes, very early.
But the Mexicans, they were able to more or less tie the game, and even they got the winner as they should have definitely got. And yes, 10th title to their name, and for Mauricio Pochettino still waiting for his major trophy, losing another final. As I like to say, you can take the man out of the sports, but you can't take the sports.
All right. Well, from there, let's just remind our people what the Gold Cup is all about. 16 teams actually took part in that competition, with 15 coming from North and Central America, and Saudi Arabia was actually invited to complete that particular competition 16. And big congratulations to them. Let's talk about the ladies. Have you guys been catching up on the Euros?
Yes, actually.
Yes, exactly.
It's been fantastic.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It
You
is
know,
Switzerland giving us
good football.
Exactly.
And England, not
So
picking up.
they didn't start well.
Yes,
So they
England
didn't
not.
start
No,
I mean as hosts. As hosts.
yeah.
As hosts. They served us.
yeah.
You know,
Good.
sorry, I don't know if I'm asking too much from Africa, but I was watching the women AFCON, and then I switched to Euro AFCON, and the difference, my God. The difference.
So is
we
it
need
all
to
not-
step up in
no,
Africa.
if we had to start that right now,
won't leave the studio.
We'll leave.
All right, guys, I think at this point we have to leave. So, Toluwani.
All right, yes, I'm going to say a big thank you to everyone that stayed connected to watching us. Today, I think we've been able to give you big reflections and top-notch analysis, all-round sport updates just for you. So make sure you just keep connecting and keep sharing. Let somebody know about Dominion Television and also the sport update right here just for you from 11 to 12 right here.
Oh, there you have it from Toluwani. Toby.
Yes, so always a pleasure to be here, and yes, we'll do this next time.
But absolutely, it's been an exciting time hanging out with you this beautiful morning, and of course, talking sports, bringing you all the analysis, all the news, and the best of interviews. You can only get that on Dominion Television. Don't forget to join us on social media. Of course, on YouTube, we're streaming Dominion Broadcast, and of course, you can also check us out on Instagram, on Twitter, and of course, on TikTok. And don't forget, you can watch all our programs on Niger TV, Lumex TV, and of course, www.dominion.org.ng. That's the size of the show. We're back tomorrow. Thanks for watching.